So now let's go over category 2 of desires, relationship and affection. Humans are naturally social beings that require other human contact, and we've observed this in many scientific studies. I think one of the more notable ones is one in World War II, when babies were sent to these huge orphanages when, this was also during the Great Depression, and so we had a lot of infants just in these huge orphanages with all these either nuns or doctors or caretakers, feeding them, clothing them, providing them liquids. And so, it was like nutritionally, all their needs were being met. But they kept on getting sick. And for a long time, not a lot of people understood why they were being sick because they had enough food, they had enough nutrients, they had enough milk or water, whatever they were having them drink, and they were warm enough. And so, what happened? So then they decided to implement that for at least, I think it was just 10 minutes a day, that these nurses would come around and they would just hold the baby just for 10 minutes a day, right up to their chest. And every single one got healthier from a completely different perspective of sort of this desire and almost essential need for human interaction. We can see that when the death penalty was happening, some people suggested that, well, maybe instead of the death penalty, we'll do solitary confinement. And after a lot of people went through solitary confinement, a lot of these, well, I guess, reports by these people who had been through solitary confinement, they had realized that, okay, their physical life wasn't ended, but mentally and emotionally, they were like super traumatized, like so scarred that they were almost a shell of themselves. I don't know how they came to this conclusion, but I think the conclusion essentially was that it was solitary confinement was pain worse than actual death. So that being said, even the most introverted of people, because trust me, I'm an introvert, everyone needs human interaction to feel fueled. Although I'm an introvert, I still feel drained sometimes when I haven't spent any time with other human contact. I secretly think that everyone's an ambivert, and it's just some people lean more towards extroversion or introversion, but I think everyone needs alone time. I think everyone needs human contact. That's just me, though. I can explain that in another video. Now, what are some reasons to desire human relationship? I think it feels good to matter to someone, to maybe even belong to someone. My sister, who also was adopted, she had, you know, maybe some struggles when she was younger, dealing with her birth parents didn't want her. They didn't want her to belong to them. And I think that cuts deep because we desired to belong to someone. I think also being with people, there's the primal reason of just safety, security, in large numbers. You feel more secure when you're in a larger group versus by yourself. There's also the desire, I think, to share good and also bad experiences with each other. And I think this also goes into the idea of just like it's good to have people around you. It's good to have close friends because when there's a joyous experience and two people share it, there's twice as much joy versus one person experiencing that. And if there's a sorrowful experience, you can share that burden with the other person. Your burden is slightly lifted a little bit when you are going through something with another person versus by yourself. So that's relationship. But what about like love, affection, splendor? Well, I think I'm going to do a whole video on love, but for splendor, I think it can be described as the attraction to something beautiful, and I think it could be a person. I also think it could be a beautiful stained glass church. The architecture, I think it could be a gorgeous in bloom cherry blossom tree in a garden. I think it could also be the sound of an amazing symphony being performed by the Berlin Philharmonic. I think it could be the best beef Wellington that you've ever tasted. Like, we desire beauty, and we desire to be surrounded by it, and we experience this through our senses. So now what? Think of something that you love, and it could be a relationship or a person. It could be a belonging, something you own. It could be anything. And I just want you to list 5 reasons why you love it. Super simple. And that's it for this video. So stay tuned when we talk about love and continue on this journey. Hope to see you there.